Well, as I mentioned, Manitoba Public Insurance does have a new president and CEO, effective immediately. Satvir Jatana now leads the organization. She has a wealth of experience with the Crown Corporation. She served as MPI's vice president and chief customer officer for nearly 9 years. MPI has been, as you might recall, without a CEO since last May, after the former president was released after an internal review that found a number of different problems. And then, of course, we had the strike last summer. Satvir Jatana joins us in studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So you're stepping into this new role at MPI. How do you describe what you hope your leadership will look like?
My leadership is really deeply rooted in having a strong alignment with our employees, with our stakeholders, with our regulator, Public Utility Board, under the guidance of our board of directors and government as obviously our shareholders. Mm-hmm.
Will your style be informed at all for places you worked at before MPI? We mentioned you have quite a history there, but you worked privately for Canadians, for Princess Auto. Will some of those experiences in the private sector translate to what you hope to do with MPI or not?
You know, absolutely. Leadership is something that it's a journey and not a destination. And I do believe, what I have acquired over the years through working for some of these great reputable organizations like Walmart, Princess Auto, Canadians, have all made me who I am. And some of those foundational pieces, being a servant leader, serving your team, and the president and CEO's job is there to enable the team. So, now I have the opportunity to be in that role and really to display that in my actions and decisions.
You have some things that you're going to have to work on right away. Obviously, I mentioned that the past CEO left the position. And if listeners, just to catch listeners up on, reminding ourselves what happened there, that was due to work-related conduct, but it also included some overspending with Project Nova. So there were untendered contracts, there were pay increases for execs. How will you ensure that spending is kept under control?
I deeply believe in our mission, and that is to provide exceptional service and products led by affordable rates. And the only way we can deliver on that commitment is if we have a fiscal prudence principles in place. We are responsible with the ratepayers' money that we are entrusted with. And balancing the need to progress, but progress at a speed that it is not giving rate shocks to our ratepayers. And it's in alignment with what we're here for, and here to serve Manitoban and provide value.
Do you have a sense of what might need to shift, though, to get the fiscal picture back on track, given that you've been involved with MPI for 9 years and as VP there, VP and Chief Customer Officer, about what went wrong and how you hope to kind of make sure that doesn't happen again?
There's one way of learning is always, by your kind of failure. And as an organization, I recognize that we've fallen short of our promises at time, and perhaps more in the recent years. I've also been part of this organization, where things were going well and we were delivering on promises. So I want to kind of build on some of our past practices, but also learn from our recent events and steer the ship in a way that is staying true to who we are as MPI, and that's really at the heart of who MPI is.
One of the findings, the former PC government commissioned this report, and one of the findings said MPI had a bloated management structure. What do you think of that assessment?
There are a number of areas that the E&Y review report points. It talks about having the right strategy, having the right structure, roles and roles and responsibility, clarity and roles and responsibility. It also talks about having decisions that are informed by data and data that is available. It talks about strengthening our financial processes and systems so we are able to provide the right information when it's required. And it also talks about elevating our workforce planning, ensuring that we have the right people in the right position, and balancing the need to manage the business, but also continue to grow and continue to improve. So it focuses on a lot of those areas, and I recognize that management layer was one of those areas. So what I can say that we are going to be focusing on first developing a plan and then ensuring that we have the right structure, we have the right layer, we have the right management count, and we have the right number of frontline employees providing service to Manitoban.
So you're reassessing from the top, it sounds like, as you come up with the plan and a strategy.
Absolutely. This is our opportunity to get it right and where we have fallen short to correct some of those areas. So, yeah, coming into this role, I'm fortunate that I've been part of the team. I've been working alongside the team. So I have a deep understanding and passion for a Crown corporation so that I'm not going to spend next 6 months in learning the business, but perhaps I get to build it from here. So this is my opportunity to do that with our team.
Speaking of timelines, given that, as you said, you don't have to you're not starting from scratch, you're coming in and you want to have a plan and to look at possible change where needed. Will you put a timeline on that? Like if you're going to change management structure, for example, if that's one of the things in the strategy, will you hope to see those results in the next 3 months, 6 months? Are you a benchmark kind of a leader?
I tend to work with a great sense of urgency, but I recognize when you're steering a ship of MPI, it's a large company. So I wanted to do it methodically, but do it with a great sense of urgency. I recognize there's 2,000 of my team members looking at me and expecting direction and leadership. I'm also, it's not lost on me that Manitobans also are looking for MPI to deliver on its mission. So this is my priority, and this is where I'm going to give all of my effort and skills to provide the leadership that my team needs and what Manitobans expect of me.
8:22, we're in conversation with Satvir Jatana, the new CEO of Manitoba Public Insurance. I want to ask you about some things on behalf of Manitobans. You're talking about, obviously, people are interested in what you will do. Due to the strike, there were these claims that were backed up, and we did hear, the last we reported was that MPI had told us, your organization said that you hope that backlog will be cleared by spring. Mm-hmm. Any update on that?
Absolutely. That's one area I would love to highlight. So, when we came out of the strike, there was over 40,000 appointments, customers waiting on appointments. There was large backlog in claims and adjusting, especially in estimating, driver testing. And what I can tell you that our team, within the first 6 weeks of returning back, they put their heads down and they went right to work. We cleared almost 92% of the backlog when it came to appointments. Now, you also would remember that last year was one of the worst years for hails. We never had that many hail claims in probably the history of MPI. So our team was dealing with some abnormal claim count, but we have made great progress. What I can tell you today that customers can go into any of our location and have an appointments within a couple of weeks for these large kind of a needs when it comes to adjusting or driver testing or estimating. And our team is hard at work clearing the backlog. And we've already cleared for the driver testing side. We're still working on some of the claim side, but we're confident that we'll clear that in the definitely by spring.
And spring to you is beginning of March, end of March, or?
It's like for many Manitobans, I would say, end of March is probably what we call spring.
Also during the strike, we did interviews with some drivers that were waiting months for repairs. They were saying they should get their premiums refunded for that. I know in December, MPI told CBC it wasn't considering refunds in most cases. Now that you're at the helm, do you still stand by that?
It's difficult to talk about individual cases, but what I can tell you that insurance needs to stay active even when there is a claim, and that is to protect for any other incident or any other damage to the vehicle. So that's kind of what I can tell you without knowing any individual. And if there are individual cases, our team is always available to deal with that. Our priority is to address that backlog backlog. And you mentioned repair. Some of absolutely, it's been an abnormal year for us. The other issue that we face in Manitoba is also, especially after or during the COVID, we're still dealing with the repair backlog, delays in parts, and some of the dilemmas and I'll say issues that our repair shops are also facing.
To repair automobiles.
Yeah, so it's a combination of all of those things. But MPI is doing what we can to ensure that the backlog at our end is moving and it is cleared by the spring.
Good luck in your new role. Thank you very much for making time for CBC and for being in studio. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me again.
That is Satvir Jatana, who is the new CEO of Manitoba Public Insurance.
Thank you for watching the CBC Manitoba YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For the latest breaking news and top stories, download the CBC News app.